Oh hey, the one and only Dusty Bottoms, founder of Kingdom Trucking Academy. In today's episode, I'm going to be walking you through the steps that it takes to become a truck driver. So let's get started. So you want to become a truck driver? Well, that's great. It's a great career, and we need more of you out there on the road. But there are some steps you got to take, and it is a process to become a truck driver. Back in the 80s, it was a lot easier. It was just called a chauffeur's license. Now, it's a commercial driver's license, CDL. You want to drive with big boys, 18-wheelers, requires a Class A CDL. Now, there's different kinds of variations that you can drive out there, but typically what you see out on the road is Class A fifth wheel. It means you're gonna have to take your test in a Class A fifth wheel. Now, there are gonna be some steps you have to take before you can even begin training to take your CDL. What that's gonna look like is this. First, you need to get your permit. General knowledge test. The general knowledge test. For some people, it's easy. For others, it's hard. If you plan on enrolling in a CDL trucking school, which most of you are going to have to do, most of those schools can help you. There's some new laws getting ready to pass that almost all of schools now are going to be able to offer the general knowledge test. This will help expedite training and it will help alleviate the state's demands. I'm on the fence on this. I also don't agree with the ATA continuing to get involved in deregulating the industry. I understand what they're trying to do, but I don't think it's good for the industry as a whole. I think it's breaking some safety precautions. I also don't like the new modernized testing format. I like the old standardized, where you're required to do much harder skills. I think we're making it easier now for people to get their CDLs, and while that might sound good up front, there's a lot of consequences. But I digress. Oh hey, the one and only Dusty Bottoms, founder of Kingdom Trucking Academy and the creator of the Kingdom Driver Training Program. The Kingdom Driver Training Program is the curriculum we use at Kingdom Trucking Academy. We have maintained a 100% passing rate using the Kingdom Driver Training Program. The Kingdom Driver Training Program is a complete set of 9 comprehensive videos. You can purchase all 9 videos at kingdomtruckingacademy.com. Each video is designed for the requirements needed to pass your CDL exam. So follow me as I guide you through each stage of your CDL exam. You can purchase each video at kingdomtruckingacademy.com for $49.99. or the complete set for $299.99. That's a great price. These videos are some of the most comprehensive videos today on the market. Our curriculum is trademarked for a reason, because Kingdom Trucking Academy is the standard. Everyone else is just second place. So go to kingdomtruckingacademy.com to get your videos today. Roll on, truckers, roll on. So the first thing you need to do, you need to go down to your DMV and you need to pass your general knowledge test. Most likely you're going to need to get your air brakes endorsement because most trucks nowadays have air brakes on them. Again, these are not that difficult to test. However, all the DMVs across all 50 states should provide study tools for you to study for the general knowledge. What I actually advise doing is, and I'll get to that in a second, what I advise people to do is watch your ELDT videos that you're going to have to watch anyways. A lot of what's on the videos is also on your general knowledge test. So this will be like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, because you're going to have to do this requirement anyways, and it'll help you with your general knowledge test. Either way, get your permit. Once you've gotten your permit, and remember, you need to hold on to your license. No matter what you think the DMV tells you, and even if the DMV tells you this thing, that means they're buffoons. Keep your driver's license with you as well. That permit doesn't negate your driver's license. So keep your driver's license even after you get your CDL permit. Fold that piece of paper up and put it in your wallet with your driver's license, but you need to carry both. The next thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to schedule a DOT physical, because all CDL drivers, commercial driver's license holders, have to have a DOT medical card. And typically, they have to have it updated every 2 years. Now, if you have a pre-existing condition that requires you to get tested every year, it's a different story. However, you do need to get a DOT medical examiner's card, otherwise known as a med card. Oddly enough, many chiropractors, probably in your area, offer DOT physical exams. Not that hard, go down, get one. On average, $50 to $100. Some places, $150. Once you have your permit and your medical card, the next step, depending on how you go about doing this, is your ELDT. Your ELDT is entry-level driver training. This is required by the FMCSA now before anyone can schedule to take a CDL test. This happened on February 7th, 2022, went into effect. In order to get the videos, you must use a registered provider. What that means is, air quotes, a training school. I think this was the FMCSA's way of trying to force people to go to CDL schools. Now, I'm not talking about government overstep or anything like that. I'm saying most people need to go to a CDL school. I don't like people circumventing this process because, again, the thing that I appreciate the most is safety on the road. When you circumvent these processes, it does not create safer roads. To do your ELDT training, as I said, you need to go to a registered training provider. If you've already enrolled in a CDL school, they will have walked you through these steps. Now that you've sat, you watched the videos, you spent many hours doing so, I tell most of my students, knock it out in a weekend, get it done. It's not that hard, just get it done. You have to have the videos completed, you have to have your permit, you have to have your medical card, a minimum of 14 days prior to scheduling a test. But you cannot schedule a test unless you've completed your ELDT training. You also have to have your permit and a medical card. The next thing is training. You've already enrolled in a school. Most likely, the average training is 160 hours. Why 160 hours? Because some buffoon at AMVA, who designs the test for the FMCSA, came up with 160 hours. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I have my opinions on it. I, again, think it's idiotic. What it essentially is 40 hours a week for 4 weeks. I don't think 40 hours a week for 4 weeks makes much of a difference. Why? Because everybody that's going to a CDL school is going for one thing. They're going to get their CDL. The point of a CDL school is to help get people through the CDL exam. Why this has to be 4 weeks? It doesn't. Most states don't require it. Only a state like Washington requires that any third-party school must be 160 hours. Again, it's a bunch of people that don't drive trucks coming up with these rules. At Kingdom Trucking Academy, we have a 1 week, a 2 week, and a 3 week course, depending on your needs and depending on your background. We're not going to hold people 4 weeks. We have a 100% graduation rate. We're just that good. Now that you're enrolled at the school, you'll begin learning all of the things that you need to know to pass your CDL exam. To take the test, what is going to be required on you is pre-trip. Now, on the new modernization test, you're going to do the NCAB first. These are all pass, fail. You have to pass them in order to move to the next step. So you'll do your NCAB. Then you'll go do your exterior, where you'll point out all the parts. Again, I'm very upset about the new modernized test requirements. They've cut out half the parts to try to expedite the process of this. By doing that, we are not, as in we, I mean the industry as a whole, are not training people on the things they need to know parts-wise that are essential for safety. But anyways, you'll have to do all the parts. You're going to point out all the parts that are required and what you have to say, what you have to look for. Again, Kingdom Trucking is one of the only schools in America that has a copyrighted, trademarked curriculum. You do this, you go through all your parts, you name it, you pass, you get a high enough score, then you get to move on to the skills. The skills, there's 4 things that are going to be required. Straight line back, a forward stop. Why they have to do a forward stop is ridiculous. I know, AMVA did some numbers, crunched some things. Non-CDL drivers and came to realize, oh, people, they're not stopping correctly. No, that's just poor training. However, now you got to do a forward stop. Then you're going to do a forward offset and a reverse offset. I'm not completely against these things, but no more alley docking, which 75% of all CDL drivers on the road throughout their day have to do a 90-degree backing. The fact that we're not requiring that anymore is, again, idiotic. These are a bunch of dust holes coming up with these things. So you've passed your skills maneuvers. Now you're going to go do your road test. Once you've completed your road test with a passing score, you have your CDL. Now you got to decide what you're going to do for the rest of your career. Typically, most people go work for a major motor carrier, like a Schneider, a Werner, Trans Am, TMC. Some of these places are really great companies. Most of them require a 10 to 12 week training program. I agree with this. In that 10 to 12 weeks, you're going to ride with a trainer, and that person's going to teach you all the ins and outs of the road. Before you ever get your own truck, you're going to complete this. Now, what I don't like and I see happening is a lot of people, and I won't say who, but a lot of people have some money, they go out, they buy their own truck, they buy their own trailer, and they begin a small fleet, whatever, but they go work for some small fleet that their cousin owns or whatever. Now, there's no ride-along program, there's no driver training program, so you get accidents that happened a few years ago in Colorado, where somebody didn't know how to read signs and they didn't know how to properly drive their truck, ended up killing a bunch of people. It could have all been mitigated if they knew how to read signs properly and just used the runaway truck ramp. But the person didn't know how to brake, didn't know how to downshift, truck got away from them, they overheated the brakes, didn't know how to stop, and ended up killing a bunch of people by ramming into them. This is what happens when you put unqualified, untrained people on the road. What could probably happen is they go to a school that didn't train them properly or go over anything. They're just a CDL factory. Hurried up, got them through. Then this person went and worked for some family member that only hires a bunch of people that they know, and there is no training provided, and they stick them out on the road and hope for the best. I think these people need to be punished. I think there needs to be jail sentences that go with these people, the owners, everything. Now, a lot of companies, a lot of well-paying companies, they want 2-3 years minimum experience before you can go work for them. So what happens is you go work for a bigger outfits like a Werner, a Schneider, TMC. You start learning the industry. You get your 2 year, 3 years, and then you go move on to another company where maybe you have better at home time or different things like that. Maybe you've learned the industry a little bit better and have decided what area you want to focus on. Maybe you, like I said, you want better at home time. Again, there's so many options out there for you, but it all starts with you getting your permit, getting your med card, getting your ELDT done, then getting your license, and then beginning your journey. So let's not overlook all the steps that it takes, and do not skip over these steps, because that leads to accidents, casualties, all of these things. But once you get your CDL, you're part of this community, you're part of this industry, and we accept you with open arms. If you like this video, give us a like and subscribe. We thank you for your support. I'm your trucking messiah, the one and only Dusty Bottoms. Roll on, truckers, roll on.